Oh, but if that one wasn't good enough, we have a number 2. This is something I can't do on the original H500. Peel 2 layers over the tempered glass. It's because there's 2 tempered glass panels in the H510. That's something else, isn't it? I keep finding myself coming back to one word, and that's price. This is by far the most expensive S340 iteration to date, and it's difficult for me to wrap my mind around. We'll discuss that and more in this video. Today's video sponsor is Omniwear, and they make really cool t-shirts like the one I'm wearing right now. This is an astronaut tearing through a black hole. I mean, how much crazier can you get than that? I wore another, more colorful shirt of theirs in my most recent Facebook Marketplace video, and many of you let me know how much you liked that one. So if you want to find that shirt, this one, or more, you can visit omniwear.com, use my offer code ScienceStudio to get 10% off your entire order. Now back to the H510 Elite. So what sort of functional advancements would you expect in the H510 Elite? Well, for starters, you've got Type-C inclusion. Granted, you lose one of the USB 3 ports in the process. Not sure why they did that. There's nothing stopping them from just having a split USB 3.0 cable running to your motherboard. Seems like a cost-saving measure, but in a case this expensive, it's kind of a meh. You also get the control hub, which allows you to control LEDs as well as fan speed through CAM. You also have fan splitters included with some of these fans in the case, so you don't have to worry about having a limited number of connections. That is nice, but should you consider this a plus for the H510 Elite, the fact that this is included? In my opinion, no. You're paying for it, so you should expect it. By the way, if you're not a fan of CAM in its current state, this is another reason to avoid the H510 Elite. This control hub requires the use of CAM if you want native control all-in-one software suite. CAM in its current state, admittedly, is not great, and I think NZXT knows that, which is why they're producing the second version. It's in beta right now. The official release is coming soon. You also get an integrated LED strip up here, and while it's a nice inclusion, again, the price really doesn't reflect all of the things that you're getting here. You could get LED strips that do a similar job for like 10 bucks on Amazon or eBay. So it's nice, but it's not that nice. Drive support is pretty much the same for the H510 Elite that it was for the H500, although something I noticed is that these SSD bays here are attached to the chassis via a single Phillips screw each, which is a diversion of how the H500 did it. The H500 didn't require a screw to keep things in place. I'm pretty sure it was totally toolless. So I don't know why they made it more complicated in the more expensive case. If I pan this way, you can see I got the H500 there. I literally just built that PC. You'll see a video of it soon. But that one had the SSD trays that weren't requiring a Phillips screw a piece. So I don't know why they made it more complicated here. I mean, look, I know we're talking about like a single Phillips screw takes 10 seconds to remove. That seems super petty, but I'm being petty because this is so much more expensive. And if we're talking about a near $200 case, I'm going to complain about even the smallest details that were changed and frankly made worse in more expensive iterations of cases that were originally $60 or $70. So NZXT is going to have to bear with me here because this doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why they would do this. Something else you may have noticed back here, NZXT does retain the cable management little channels, if you want to call them that, from the H500. Is this a plus for the H510 Elite? No, it's not a plus. It's nice that they're there. I don't think that they're a hindrance at all. In fact, in some cases, it can be beneficial to have these. But the H500 has them for like 70 bucks. So again, 70 bucks versus 180 bucks. We're talking nearly 3 times the price, folks. So let's build in it. Let's see if it's any different. Let's throw a build in here, and yeah, we'll call it. Yeah, you know what this case reminded me of when I built in it? Kind of funny, you're not gonna expect it. Reminded me of the H500 from NZXT. Look, I'm really trying with this one. I know it seems like I'm being kind of sarcastic, and I am to an extent, because I think you'd have to be a bit silly to buy this for, I mean, unless you just have money to throw around. I'd say the H500 will suit you just fine. But if you want to give this the benefit of the doubt, let's consider the tariff, right? NZXT has been tacking on a $20 to $30 I guess, price hike for the tariffs in the States. So if you live in some other part of the world, assuming all other things are equal, which they're usually not, US people would be paying a bit more for this case. Again, about 20 or 30 bucks. So let's deduct worst case scenario, 30 bucks from this case. If it retails at 160 to 170, then that brings us down to about, what, 140. And I would say that even at $140, this case is overpriced. Let's take away the controller. Let's say the control hub is about 20 bucks. I wouldn't pay more than about 20 or $30 for it. Let's say, okay, worst case, again, 30 bucks. That brings us down to 110. At that point, we're about, what, a $40 premium for tempered glass, USB Type-C, vertical graphics mount, and that's, I mean, well, we get the two fans up front and we get the LED strip. That'd be, I could see that being something that I would be okay with. Because it's an option, right? It's a semi-affordable option at a little over 100 bucks that still has the great things that the H500 had going for it. And if you haven't seen my H500 review, I encourage you to do that. It's in this card up here. The reason why you need to watch that is because I'm not going to go through all the features of this case again, because literally 90 to 95% of the features of this case are also included in the H500. The few that I've pointed out here are the exceptions. And that's ultimately what you're paying for. The tempered glass up front, the two extra fans, the LED strip, the control hub, and this thing, this vertical mount, which I don't recommend using unless you're custom cooling in this case. And even so, custom cooling is not easy. I can tell you that firsthand. I've done that in the no, not the H500, it was the S340 Elite, which is a similar style. And it wasn't easy. A few things I would change about this case, and this holds true as well for the H500, which again is virtually identical. First, I would like to see an extra 120mm fan support up top. Even if we have to cut back on 140 support, having two 120s up top is pretty good for those 240mm AIOs that it looks like you could get to fit up here, assuming you moved your fan mounting a bit closer to the left side. That's just a small issue. I'm just saying it would be nice to have support up top for exhausting air versus putting an AIO up front where it's going to have questionable air intake. We've proven that in our airflow video of the H500. Another thing I would like to change, I would like to widen this little cutout here for supplemental VGA power. It's a bit too narrow as is, and when you have a card that has two supplemental 8 pins, it can kind of squish those cables down below. Just not the most aesthetically appealing thing at this point. I can't really think of much else to complain about. I mean, the one big issue, in my opinion, is price. I keep coming back to it. I told you I would. And I don't see it at $169.99 or whatever they're trying to sell this for. I know it seems like I'm being a bit harsh on NZXT. I've been bringing up price literally throughout this video. But I'm critical of them because I respect the work that they do. I built so many times in the original S340. I've built several PCs in the S340 Elite. I'm rocking my, I mean, you can see the H500 right now. It's my personal streaming rig, and I have other builds in the H500 as well. And so I like using, especially this form factor here. The H500 and the S340 Elite were really good cases, really great values. The H500, in my opinion, was a better value than the S340 Elite. But this, there's really nothing elite about this case apart from the name. And that's a strong opinion, but I think it's justified. I don't think that it's worth a $100 markup over the original H500, which was already fine. Sure, the H510, which they also offers a few extra features, and it's not as expensive. Maybe you should consider that one. I've got them all linked below if you're interested, along with a few other cases in the H500's price range, so around 70 bucks that you should consider, not just from NZXT, but other brands like Flynthe and Fractal Design and whoever else. I only recommend the cases that I've reviewed and have hands-on experience with that look really good, and I have done this with a number of cases now, so I feel like my opinion here is justified. I want to emphasize that again. I'm not trying to harp on anything NZXT does from a strategic standpoint. I don't think that they expected many of these to sell. I don't think they expect as much of these to sell as the original H500. That's fine. Maybe they just wanted some variants, and that's cool. But I still have to be straight up with you guys. I don't recommend you buy it. And 95% of you, again, who are budget conscious, who care about your hard-earned cash, should buy the H500 instead if you're sold on an NZXT case. So let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree with that. And yeah, we can duke it out down there. Give this video a thumbs up. Thought it was cool, dislike for the opposite effect. Or if you're feeling especially fancy, you can click that subscribe button, become a member. I will catch you in the next one. This is Science Studio. Thanks for building with us.